Hey everyone. The reason why I'm doing this video is just to talk about the tug and the pull of positive decision making. Um, a lot of times we go through the tugging and the pulling, and the only thing that we really have control over is the decisions we make. And a lot of times we're doing it in a daze, like it's like a haze type phase where you really can't make the best decision possible, but you can make a decision. And the way I'm going to tell you about how to prep yourself ahead of time for making positive decisions. Are you in agreement with it? Are you okay with it? See, because a lot of times the devil used like manipulative tactics to talk you into certain things that are against your beliefs, certain things that you were trained and programmed to not partake in, not to be repetitious again into the same situation, but to rather enhance and improve yourself. But sometimes, you're gonna go through that period where you kind of like in that repetitious behavior, but you're winning yourself away from it. You're like slowly removing yourself piece by piece from this destructive behavior. And sometimes it takes you just doing a complete shock effect and just removing yourself like right away from a situation. And then other times you slowly remove yourself from the situation to get better results and to render more of a result that is more comfortable for you. um, you're not in a good situation, but you're trying to remove yourself and put yourself in a better situation that is more a pleasable. Not saying that any situation would really be a pleasable, but you're just making better decisions. One thing I heard today as I was listening to Creflo Dollar, and like I firmly believe that if you don't get anything out of somebody's message, that's a bad thing. But sometimes people say that one thing that catches you. That's why it's good to listen to the ministry. That's why it's good to listen to preachers that you can implement in your own life. I always tell people take what you need, what you don't need, don't worry about it. It's a reason why sometimes like messages seem a little riddled or it may seem a little bit not for you. So you're listening to it, but you're like, man, I'm not really getting it. But this one thing this person said made sense to me, because you really don't understand the situation until you're actually going through it. But the message kind of repeat itself later on as you're going through that moment where you can kind of grasp the concept and understand um, the guidance that was given. That's why it's good to actually listen to the pastors and preachers that's preaching, because some of their guidance and their advice will give you wisdom and how to deal with certain things, how to go about certain things, what to do, what not to do. If it's offensive to you, certain things that the minister says. That's something that you may not want to do because it seems offensive to you, but always remember the message, you know so this one message Creflo Dollar said today was to sit up there. Once God has cleansed you from something, the hardest part is to try to keep what you have, like the mentality that you have, what you're doing, like keep it on track, keep it on focus, keep it doing what it needs to do. And he said that was the hardest thing. And I was listening to his message and I was like, you are so correct. Because when you start making a mindset to do certain things different, you're dealing with the switches, you're dealing with the tears, you're dealing with the puppeteering, you're dealing with the manipulation, you're dealing with the brainwashing, you're dealing with the erasing of bad things that you really need to remember. You're dealing with the erasing of good things that you are trying to implement. You're dealing with a multitude of different things. You're dealing with being dumbfounded at the same time. You're dealing with so many different attacks that's happening to you that it's kind of hard to stay on track with just what you set for yourself and your goals that you set for yourself. And today I want to like actually encourage some people to actually stay goal driven. Sometimes we faint, we fall or whatever and stuff like that and easily give in to the temptation, and that's your enemy. Your enemy wants you to change the thought process. And this is the same way Creflo Dollar said it today. It's your enemy trying to change you from your progressive thinking, trying to change you from doing the things that you have to do for yourself, trying to change your personality, your thought process, and everything. And it's to hinder you. And all of this is done to stop you from actually growing, stop you from actually doing what God said do and stuff. And you're going to go through that. So the best thing to do is stay focused on the word of God, stay focused on what God has called for you to do, the way God has called you to walk in his anointing, the word that he gave you, everything that he wants you to do. Remember to do just that. Because if you don't, you will lose track of yourself. Like God gives wisdom, stick to the Commandments, And a lot of times those basic 10 Commandments, the reason why to stick to them, it keeps you from shame. It keeps you from people taking advantage of you, doing certain things to you. Those 10 Commandments are vital, especially in our situation, whether you're going through something or not going through it. They're vital to you. They're marrow to your bones. They're strength to you. Because when you can look your enemy in the face and say, "Hey, I have no shame because I know what you did to me. I know what you were up to. I know the stuff that you took from me. You took my innocence, and stuff like that." Our children's innocence is being taken at a young age, and they don't have a chance to enjoy being children, and it's sad because what they're being, the thing about it, their mind's not being guarded because it's the parents' job to garter it. Their heart's not being guarded because any and everybody is being around them. And they're not really getting that opportunity to actually protect themselves the way that they need to because people are sowing seeds into them that shouldn't be sowing these seeds or doing things to them that shouldn't be doing these things to them. And their innocence are being taken at a young age. And then they have TV that's they're doing observation of. And a lot of stuff on there is very mature. Um, Very upscale, very, very high up, and you really can't observe nor watch it, at a young age because you don't know how to interpret it. You don't know how to take it. You don't even know how to develop a thought process from it. And then you have the things that's behind them, connected to them, that's trying to take control of them, you know, whether they have to blank them out and do it or whether they're doing it, you know, making this person think that this is their decision. A lot of decisions I have seen people make haven't been their own decision, but rather a manipulation tactic, dark psychology, a misinterpretation of what they want to do. You know, I hear women all the time say, "Oh, I want to have a baby." Then you start asking them questions. You like, "Okay, you want to have a baby? Why do you want to have a baby?" I just want one. Okay, can you afford it? Oh, I can't afford it, but okay, if you can't afford it, then you don't want it. That's something manipulating you into wanting something that you can't afford. That's not for you. You have to really be smart about this, even with taking vacations and stuff like that. And I'm pro one. I believe in enjoying life. I believe in taking vacations. I believe in enjoying my life as best as I can. But when you know that you have bills to, opposed to taking vacation, you have to let your desires go, sweetheart, and deal with the responsibilities and the obligations. And I'm not saying you're wrong for going on vacation because ultimately the choice is yours. I'm just saying now you have to deal with the effects of a decision you made. Because if it was a poor decision, now you're stuck with problems. Oh, I didn't pay my rent, so now I got to find a way to pay the rent. Or I didn't pay the light bill so that I can go and enjoy myself. Or I didn't pay the car note. I didn't pay the car insurance or whatever because you made a poor decision to actually choose something that you should not have chosen. And we all have to actually grow up to the point where we're saying, hey, I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm not going to make these decisions that will ultimately cost me everything, you know? or ultimately cost me to suffer, you know, make better decisions and stick to what you're making, you know. It's kind of hard to make a budget and then blow the budget, you know. And I'm one that does that all the time, you know. I make a budget. Sometimes I don't stick to it, you know. Sometimes I do. Um, just trying to stay on track and stay focused and do the right thing, you know, because a lot of times we don't. I hope this verse encouraged you. Remember, stick to your guns, stick to the change, stick to the progression. You know, don't do like a 2 year, 1 year progression and then you're doing um 2, 3 years going back to the same place that you went to, but you just progressed, but you went back 3 years, you know, and you did a 2 year progression and you went back 3 years, you know, because you weren't thinking soundly or whatever. Remember, stick to your guns, stick to what you believe in. It's going to encourage you, it's going to help you and everything, because your enemy, he or she wants everything from you. They don't mean you well. You have to mean it for yourself. You have to do what it takes for yourself. Hope these words encourage you again. Good luck.